Good evening and welcome to Friday night. What's going on, Michael? We got my main man, Mr. Michael Coley, in the house with us.
I was beginning to think you forgot the slam downs at the beginning.
We always got the slam downs. We know that the slam downs are part of the show now, right?
Right.
We got a great group in here tonight. A lot of the regulars that are here. We appreciate you joining in for the Digging Deep live stream, or we can call it the Digging Deep Happy Hour. How about that, Michael?
Yeah, the happy hour.
Yeah, that's what Digging Dude calls it. I know he's on here tonight. He calls it the happy hour. What do you think? Well, hey, guys, we've had a fantastic week. We're glad to be here with you guys and sharing some metal detecting talk. We're gonna talk about a couple of things tonight. We're gonna still talk about the HF2 coil, as there's still a lot to learn and a lot of stuff to unpack with this coil. And as a lot of you I know are waiting patiently on your coil to get here, which it should be here soon. I'm hoping that they're going to start with doing some more shipments coming up. So be patient. Hopefully they're coming and so on. We're going to talk about some other things that are in the metal detecting world. Of course, I put up a video last week showing the Viper. We'll talk a little bit about the Garrett Viper. Nokta's got a big announcement coming, so we might delve a little bit into that. And then maybe some things that we might can see that are going to happen in the future with a lot of these companies. Maybe Minelab's got something else coming. Who knows? But those are going to be some of the topics that we covered tonight. We got Michael's tip of the week, which I know
Tell us about your hunt with the HF2 coil you had this week. You made some good finds. Or are they going to have to watch the video?
We're gonna go over all that, Michael. You're spoiling everything right now. But we are going to talk about my hunt with HF2 coil. And by the way, if you would like to see that hunt, spectacular hunt, go check it out. It is up on YouTube. I put it up probably about 3 or 4 hours ago. But here's the thumbnail. And again, rare company. You see the title. Rare relics from a 200-year-old site, XP Days to HF2 coil in action. So, guys, I dig a very special find, and I dug not only one special find, but I dug a second special find too, which both of those artifacts are pretty rare, especially for this area. And I will say this: it's one similar to the one that this guy down here dug too. So. And some of you may know what that is, but I wasn't expecting mine. I know Michael wasn't expecting his either, but where I was hunting, I really wasn't expecting it. And that's what makes this hunt so fantastic. And just to give you guys sort of a preview, HF2 coil performed fantastic. This is a heavily iron-loaded site, and it did amazing on this site, Michael. And we'll talk about that as we go through with the show. But let's do what we normally do, Michael. Let's do some of our shout-outs. You ready for that?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's run through the list. Let's see who's with us tonight. We got Mr. Ohio Fred. We appreciate Fred being in here. Always a great supporter of the channel. Mr. Old Pelon, also great supporter of the channel. Appreciate him joining with us tonight. Mr. Keegan's in here. He says, hello, everyone. We got Mr. Ferris Grump. Glad to have Ferris Grump. He said, happy Friday the 13th, Michael.
Yeah, he reminded me of that. I forgot all about it.
I forgot all about that too. But anyway, it's Friday the 13th. But we're not going to let that hold us down tonight. Right, Michael?
That's right.
Right. We got Mr. Chris in the house. Glad to have Chris. We got Tesh Ridge Digger in the house. Glad to have Tesh Ridge with us. We got Mr. Digging Daryl. Love having Digging Daryl with us as well. Always a wonderful supporter of our channel. Mr. Buzzsaw's here. He says, hello, everyone. Glad to have Buzzsaw. Detect Meister's in here. Says, good evening, everyone from Ireland. Man, he's dedicated. He's here every single live stream. Detect Meister, we really appreciate you for making that extra effort to join in with us on a Friday night at that too. Mr. Doug Atkins is in here all the way from South Louisiana. Glad to have Mr. Doug Atkins with us working Adventure here. Glad to have Workman's Adventure, always a great supporter of the channel as well. We've got Mr. CZ Digger. He's in the house. Appreciate him joining with us tonight. Also a great subscriber and supporter of the channel. Mr. Richard Pelkey's here. Glad to have Richard with us. Again, he's always here, just as most of you are. Mr. Trevor Van Horn. Appreciate Trevor joining in with us tonight. We've got Mr. Ricky Bennett. Says, good evening, everyone. Hope everyone has had a great week. And it has been a good week. We've really had some great, well, we've had some, I won't say great weather, but we have been able to get out and do some things. So, and I can deal with a little bit of cloud cover and a little bit of rain. How about you, Michael?
Well, yeah, we've had some today. I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah. We got Mr. LC Hunt with us. Glad to have LC, always a great supporter of our channel. We got Mr. Ohio Fred, which we mentioned. We got Mr. Surfside Dan, and I got a video coming with Surfside Dan real soon, so you guys stay tuned for that. We're going to be out on the beach, and we're going to go over some beach settings. So all you beach hunters out there, we're going to have something special for you. Talk about the settings, talk about some tips with this coil for the beach that I think you guys are going to really appreciate it. Surfside Dan knows what those tips are, but we are going to be showing that coming up real soon as well. Metal Detecting Northwestern Wisconsin's here. He says, hello, guys. Glad to have Metal Detecting Northwestern Wisconsin. And we got Mr. Digging Dude all the way from New York. Appreciate Digging Dude being with us tonight. Let's make sure we get everybody. Mr. Sniff It Out's in here. Glad to have Sniff It Out with us. Appreciate him joining us tonight. DCM is in here. Glad to have DCM, one of our fellow South Carolinians. Glad to have him with us. Mr. Relics and Rings is here tonight. Glad to have Andrew with us tonight. Appreciate you being here, Andrew. Let's see here. I'm trying to go through, Michael. Don't let me miss anybody. Mr. Don Jones is in here. Glad to have Don Jones with us tonight. He's been a regular on here for the last few weeks. We appreciate him being here. Detective 925 is here with us. Appreciate him joining with us tonight. We've got Mr. Kerry Pope. He says, hello, everybody. Glad to have you here with us, Kerry. We got Miss Sunny Coley here tonight. Glad to have Sunny with us. Look at there, Michael. There's Mr. Johnny Rum. He said he bought his wife an XP-2 conversion for her ORX. Can't believe it didn't come with the wireless antenna. XP should have included this. Cheaped out XP. Well,
I didn't know that conversion kit.
Well, they do. They do. Yeah, you can get them for that machine as well. But I can't believe it didn't come with an antenna. But maybe we can work on getting some of those antennas put in those boxes for sure. Let's see here. We got the Aggies in the house. Glad to have Aggie with us, Detecting Adventures. And let's see, Michael. I think I got everybody. I see Sodfather. Glad to have Sodfather with us tonight. Appreciate him joining in for tonight's show. And again, Michael, I think I got everybody. We got 45 people. We don't have 45 comments, but we got 45 people in here watching. So there we go. All right, Michael. So let's talk a little bit. Let's see what the audience has to say too. HF2 Coil. What are you guys hearing? What are you guys seeing? What are some of the things that you want to know? What are maybe some things you're concerned about? What are some things you've heard about? And we're going to let you guys sort of dictate the first little bit of this. HF2 Coil for me it's been fantastic. There's still some issues. I mean, and I'll admit those issues right away that the target IDs really are sort of wonky. Just say that, especially with the coins, and you guys know that. We've documented that. We've talked about it. I've talked about silencer and discrimination, how it seems a little bit odd. I really haven't figured that part out, and maybe with this next update, some of that stuff's going to be addressed. I'm hoping that update is going to happen really, really soon for those of you that are on 3.03. There could be another update, hopefully, maybe, I don't know, hopefully in the next few weeks.
But we know for sure they are working on the VDI on the coin signals, right?
Yeah, they are working on that. So I know that that's going to get a good overhaul. So you can expect that coming. And there's some other tweaks I know that they're doing too to try to stabilize this machine, take out some of those things that some of you guys are seeing. I know 3.03, I've heard from a few people saying that they're having connection problems. Sometimes it sort of lags between connecting with the remote and the coil. We've heard that, and that was that seems to be an issue.
Well, right?
What's that?
The pinpointer, right, as well.
Yeah, and yeah, it just seems like there's something they don't have something totally dialed in yet. Yeah. But again, there are a couple of things that are going on with it. I have run it on the beach, and hopefully you guys saw my beach video from last week. It ran very well on the beach, and I'm going to talk about the settings and things that I used out on the beach on this last time that we went down to the beach, Surfside Dan and I. So I do have that video coming. So for those of you that are wondering what it's doing on the beach, then that video is coming for you. And then we also got some great tips for the beach. Michael, there's one thing I really wanted to talk about. And I know you and I have sort of talked about this, but you do realize, and I don't know if some of you realize this coil is 9.5 inches, Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at, and I've got both coils here, if you look at the round coil and you look at the elliptical coil, what do you think? What's the advantage that you could see looking at both coils? Which one's going to have an advantage over the other based on the size?
The width, you can get in tighter places with that elliptical coil for sure.
Okay. So, and that's one of the selling features of this coil is that you can get into tighter spots. Okay. So, Michael, if I'm walking along and I'm swinging this coil, and you're walking along and you're swinging the 9-inch round coil, am I going to have an advantage over you because of the shape and the design of the elliptical over the 9-inch, over the regular 9-inch?
You talking about an advantage over ground coverage?
Yes.
Well, as far as ground coverage, probably not. No, you're going to have more. But it's like you said, it's 9.5 inches long.
Right.
Almost 9.
So think about this: when you're walking on a site, if you have a wider coil versus a longer coil. You see what I'm saying? Those steps as you walk, there's probably going to be some things that you're going to capture just because of the extra 1/2 inch that you get with this coil versus this coil because of the way it's designed. That's just, it's just physics. This one's longer, so it's going to always sort of be out in front of you. You see what I'm saying? When you're stepping. So there could be a slight advantage in some things with this coil. And then again, like Michael said, because of the width of this coil, it's going to be great getting into really tight spots that you're not going to be able to get into with this coil. So I'm getting that question a lot of people are asking me.
Well, here's one thing I want to mention with that.
Right.
The ground coverage is not much difference there, but you really, I know that's a lighter coil. You want to make sure you're not just going crazy swinging super fast either, because there is a narrower detection zone on that coil, and you you want to slow down a little bit with it. And because it'd be easier to go over a target like that with that narrower detection zone on that coil. So you just want to, everybody, if it's a lighter coil, and I've done it too, you want to move faster with it, which you kind of want to think about it and move a little slower, especially at night.
And there's a great comment, and a lot of you guys are really giving some great stuff on the comments. Ferris Grunt brought up a good one. He says, I think you would be more prone to make a curved swing with an elliptical coil. With a round coil, you'd be more apt to swing more level. And again, I believe he's totally right.
Right.
One thing that I noticed, especially on this last hunt, is you have got to keep this thing as level as you can, and as close to the ground as you can. I think this coil does a lot better in those types of situations. But it is interesting. That extra half inch does give you something. Just keep that in mind. And I think the stepping forward part is where you might can get a little advantage. But like Ferris Grump says, as long as you're keeping it sort of level and doing those types of things. Now, getting into those tight spots, definitely. And I'm going to keep saying this till the cows come home. But remember, this is a situational coil. If I were doing everyday hunting, what coil am I going to use, Michael?
Either the 9 or the 11, I would say.
Right. I'm still using this baby. Okay. If I get into a very, very trashy spot, or a spot that I know that I can't get to with the 9-inch, or if I get into an area that has high EMI, then I'm going to switch out to this. Okay. So those are the things that you guys need to keep in mind. But just when I'm going out hunting, I'm either going to be using the 9 or 11, maybe to start off with. If I know that it's a trashy area, like a heavily iron contaminated site, or it's going to have a lot of modern trash, and I'm going to have to try to eke out a target, then this is your baby. This is your tool that you want to use. Again, that's where this coil is going to shine, I think, for a lot of people. Do I want to take this coil out on the beach and swing it all the time? Michael?
Well, you're losing a lot of ground coverage, especially on the beach. I mean, it does, it should do good on gold, but it's just, I would go in like tightly packed cuts, or, an area where you're not going to be walking a lot of ground, because, you're losing a lot of ground coverage. I'd much rather have the 11 by 13 or the 11-inch coil on the beach.
Right. And I agree with you on that too, Michael. I think if my whole goal was to go out onto the beach and dig small earring backs, or I was specifically looking for thin gold chains,
Right.
then I might pull this out to use in that situation. Or I'm going to hunt in a hard, compact shell area on the beach. Or maybe if I want to get up on a real cut that's really sort of steep or something, I might want to use it then. But I'm still probably going to lean more towards my 9 or my 11, or the 13. The 13 gives you more ground coverage. And when you're out on that beach, as well as I do, you want to get the most ground coverage you can. But you also want to be as light as you can, especially if you're an old guy like me. You don't want your shoulder to feel like it's about to fall off too. So,
Right.
And that's the good thing about XP products, is that most of them are very, very lightweight. Even the 13, you can lighten it down a good bit if you ran the WS6, and you did the carbon graphite, and you just go real light, and maybe even take the WS6 off of the stem and stick it in your pocket.
Yeah.
You're not having to worry about a lot of those target IDs. You're just worrying about hearing something good that comes up in the ground on the beach. So that would be another thing to think about. But again, this thing has a purpose. It's another tool for the toolbox. It's another weapon in your arsenal, and it's going to give you those benefits of the things that we just talked about. Does the size matter? Well, 9.5 inches long definitely is going to give you somewhat of an advantage in some situations.
For the depth as well, that 9 inch.
And that's the other thing, Michael. And I'm glad you brought that up. I think somebody left this a few minutes ago. They were asking about depth, and guys, you can go watch the video that I just put up. And guys, I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing out of depth on this one. Now, I have the Deus 1 right back here behind me. And the elliptical coil on that Deus One was not deep at all. I mean, if I got 8 inches out of it, I was doing great in a lot of my situations, especially hunting in iron. So, but this coil acts totally different from that Deus One coil back there. It just does, as far as depth goes, you get better depth. I know you guys have seen me swing over some of the targets in my test garden behind my house, and I got exceptional depth. Now, my soil is sandy, okay? It is mild, it's neutral, so I get excellent depth with just about any machine. But I was really impressed with what I did with this machine yesterday, or not yesterday, but Wednesday on that site. And I got some really good depth on a lot of those targets. There were a couple that really sort of surprised me that I went that deep. And so you guys that are worried about depth, I can tell you that if you're in neutral soil or mild soil, that you're going to get pretty good depth out of this coil, better than what you got with the original Deus One. And we brought this up too last week, and I brought it up in the video. Remember, the detection zone on this coil is very tight, but that's with most elliptical coils. You got to get over them, and if you turn the target, which you'll see in my video, if you turn that target, you can almost miss it on the swing sometimes, just simply because it's either moved or it's turned on its side or it's gone to the side of the hole, and you didn't actually swing over it all the way. Then you can end up missing it because you can't find that sweet spot on that coil sometimes. So be aware of that once you get your coil, because that is something that is a possibility. All right, Michael, you want to say something?
I was going, some of the comments, like Relic's Ring said, corn stubble or bean stubble fields, and Daryl said sidewalk tear outs. I mean, those are great spots to use that coil. Tighter spots where
real tight spots.
Yeah.
Doug Atkins asked, I want the new coil for plowed fields and woods. And and I don't know if any of you saw me running the coil over the mineralized dirt. Guys, I don't hurt mineralized dirt. And but that soil was disturbed. And anytime you're dealing with freshly plowed fields, it seems like all of these machines act a little bit weird or funky. Don't you think so, Michael?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because you just disturb it, and disturbed soil acts different from highly impacted soil or soil that hasn't been disturbed. But I'm hoping that this coil will act really, really good, especially in a plowed field, especially when you're trying to get between rows. I know you guys, if you watched the video I did with the Viper out in the cornfield, and I did run the Deus 2 HF2 coil out there for a little bit, but it came down a thunderstorm right towards the end of my hunt when I pulled that one out, and I ended up leaving, so I didn't really find anything. But that coil definitely worked really well in that situation because I was trying to get in between all the different corn stalks and stuff. So that was really, really, really good to see. Let's see here. See if anybody else. The Tech Meister wants to know, do you think XP will make a bigger HF coil? Well, if I were a betting man, I would say yes. What do you think, Michael?
Well, I mean, the first Deus One, they had the 9-inch round coil, and I really liked that coil, and I was hoping they would release that with this elliptical coil too. But
right.
I mean, yeah, I think they would do really well to release that 9-inch round coil, HF coil.
And I'm not saying it's out of the question. Of course, we know what they did with the Deus One. So my guess would be, hey, they're going to do the same thing with the Deus 2 with the HF2 coil. Now, I could be wrong. A lot of things floating around out there. Of course, you guys know I do talk to XP on a regular basis, at least once or twice a week, trying to get updates and get a little bit of information that I can share. But so far, I have not heard anything yet about a 9-inch round, which I think that coil, if that coil comes out, that's really going to be the sweet spot, I believe. As I loved my 9-inch round, I would think that a 9-inch round for the Deus 2 would just go over like gangbusters for sure. Ferris Grump says, I agree with larger coils on the beach. I plan to use HF for recovery calls of small items. That's right. Yeah, that's what you would do with that. And that's where it will come in really handy. I will be using the HF coil in city parks and sidewalk strips. Yeah, Daryl, that's going to be the great spot for that too.
Great for that.
Johnny Rum says, I got a local permission 2 weeks ago on maps, but pulled a seated Liberty quarter and combined with the wife and a friend, 11 old buttons from the early 1800s. Very weird. All those buttons, beautiful tomback. Awesome, dude. That's so good. Workman's Adventure says, Johnny, if you live right in the turnpike, check your yard. Both sides used it a lot. Okay, there we go. Relics and Rings says HF has pretty decent depth in my high mineralized soil on coin-sized targets. Right, and
yeah.
I watched Relics and Rings video with the small gold, and I think he was pretty much dead on with that from what I saw. And I don't think that some of that gold, if it's tiny and you get in that mineralized dirt, that's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough. But again, who knows what's going to happen with the next update? Is that going to be improved? My guess is yes, that they are going to, figure out how to make it hit some of those smaller targets, like what he was showing in his video. So I would just stay tuned for that, and we'll do another test. Relics and Rings, I know we'll do another test and try to show that when they do this next update. Tesh Ridge Digger says, why do certain diggers set the discrimination high instead of using notch? And that's a great question. Tesh Ridge Digger, if you watched this last video, I did something I've never done before. I set my discrimination at 60. I've never run a discrimination that high. And let me tell you why. Originally, I didn't, when the Deus 1, when I had it originally, I knew that if I turned the discrimination up, I knew I would lose depth. But that's not the case with the Deus 2. You can run that discrimination up and you don't lose the depth. Remember that notch is basically, from what I know, notch is basically getting rid of the numbers, but not getting rid of the audio. Whereas when you run discrimination, it's like you get rid of the audio for those numbers below whatever you set that discrimination at. Or at least that's how I perceive it. But I ran a 60 notch, and I'm going to tell you why I did that. 60 notch. I ran a 60 discrimination. And the reason why I did it was I started watching some other people's videos, Paystreak's in particular, where Paystreak was running a high discrimination, and he was having really good success running a high discrimination with this HF2 coil. And so I said, well, he's doing it in a trashy park site. Would it work in a trashy iron site? And so that's what I ran, and I was rewarded. And you'll notice in the video, I ran a 2-tone program, and that's something that Michael and I talked about. And what I did was on the second tone bank, what I did was I bumped that second tone bank up as high as I could go into the 900s, where that number above 60 was going to scream at me. And so anything below 60 was just going to, not be very loud at all and would make a different sound. So that was where I ran this machine the other day. I ran the silencer at 1. I started off with a reactivity of 1.5 just to see if I could maybe get some really deeper targets. First target I dug on the video was with 1.5. Then I went to 2.5. I still got good depth. I still left the silencer at 1. I left the discrimination at 60. I ran the reactivity. I ran at 2.5 of the rest of the hunt. So if you go watch that hunt, you'll see what all of that sort of sounds like and looks like. So go check out the video. But I've never tried that before, but I did run the discrimination up. I've always thought, well, you shouldn't do that. You're going to lose so much depth. But after watching some other people do it, I said, well, heck, I'm going to try it.
But you done very well doing that.
Yeah, and that was the unusual thing. And that's my honest answer. I could be totally wrong. Again, I never claimed to be an expert. I never claimed to be a professional. I'm just a guy with a metal detector trying things out. And that's what I chose to run. And it worked out great. I found 2 finds that were just unbelievable finds. And I'm going to share those with you guys in just a few minutes. But, you know, I've never run my machine like that at all. So that was a really true test to the machine. The site was perfect for this HF2 coil because it was highly contaminated with iron. And we went into that site and thinking that I was just going out there just to test the coil. I didn't really expect to find anything because the place has been just devastated by a lot of people. And in fact, Michael's been over there with me. And Michael, what's that site like where I found all these things?
I mean, we've hunted a lot. There's some modern trash there, but mixed into it is some older. There's several periods of time in that spot there, you know.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of layers of history there, and this thing picked through a lot of that too. CZ Digger says I'm still running version 3.02. Is 3.03 advisable? CZ, I would say go ahead and do it. I was on 3.02 and I was having issues at the beach. So I went with 3.03 and it cleared up my issues that I was having on the beach. So I would just say go ahead and do it. It was originally, from what I was told, it was mainly for the extreme hunter, but they did say, and some bugs and fixes. So I would say go ahead and go to 3.03. So that's just my suggestion. Let's see here. Trying to look and see what kind of questions we got here. Let's see here. Yes, notch will totally eliminate the target, and that's right. And that's what I just said a few minutes ago, Digging Daryl. Thank you for clarifying. Relics and Rings says, I'm sure XP will improve the HF coil performance on small gold. I see that coming. So be patient with that. And Relics and Rings, I hope you're able to take it out there and show that same test in a few weeks, and it works fine and it works great. That's all we can hope for at this point. But your test was really good, and I appreciate you sharing that with everybody. Right, Notch gets rid of numbers and audio, but sometimes the audio will break through for some reason. And you know what I noticed too, Michael? Even running the discrimination up high, I did see occasionally, I would see some numbers below the discrimination.
Yeah. So
yeah, it was really strange. But again, again, I'm just a guy running a metal detector, having fun. I'm just telling you what I saw, what I ran, and it worked out great. So that's all I can tell you. Yes, to come in as iron targets, giving an iron buzz. Right. It'll make it, well, not necessarily an iron buzz. It gives it, if you run that two-tone program, you can set that how you sort of want it to sound, and you can make it sound as loud as you want it to sound too, because you can adjust the first tone bank below that 60 mark. So you can adjust that sound by frequency. You can either turn it up or you can turn it down. And then you can also adjust the volume on Test Ridge Digger, where you can turn it up, make it as loud as you want, or you can turn it where you don't even barely hear it at all. That's the advantage. And Michael was dead on with this, because I would have run pitch tones, and that's what I normally run. But we decided to run two tones just for the simple fact that I felt like we could get a little more audio modulation with the two tones. Right, Michael? Tell them our thinking on all that.
I think that HD audio is working better with the like the 2, 3, 4, and 5 tones, and not so much full and pitch.
Right.
I think it sounds different, in those particular tones to me. So I think you do get some more modulation using those 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 tones. Yeah,
Metal Detecting Northwestern Wisconsin says you got to turn the TID off, which is for ferrous though. It's for iron, by turning the TID off. So you can do that, and they have it checked. So I leave mine checked. I mean, they did it for a reason. And so I don't mess with the Ferris TID, and I leave it exactly right where they set it by default. I leave it checked, and then I got, so, but anyway, the discrimination at 60 worked out great for me. Go watch the video. You'll see the results. You'll hear the targets. You'll hear what they sound like. And guys, guess what? These are live digs. So you get to see it from start to finish. And so it's not, after the fact. So I go through the whole process. And that's the reason why, I like doing live digs. A lot of people won't do them because they feel unsure. And I feel unsure sometimes when I go to do a live dig, but I try to video. I got one hunt that I haven't even put up where I did 120 clips in a day. And, I videoed everything because I didn't know, exactly what that target was going to be. So I made sure that I videoed it. And I was even having camera problems on Wednesday as well. My camera kept shutting off during the middle of the recording. But luckily on the two that I wanted it to stay on, it stayed on. And so, you'll see that on the video if you go watch it. But I was real excited to go into that site and find some targets that were just unbelievable, and targets that I never dreamed I would have found on that Wednesday. And sometimes that's just how it works, right, Michael?
That's right. And I mean, that's one of the problems in the South. Either, it gets so hot, these cameras will either fog up or they'll overheat.
Yeah, they will. They will either overheat or do something. But again, that's one thing that I tried on Wednesday. It worked for me. I'm not going to tell you it's going to work for you. Okay. Again, my soil is very neutral. This site is very different. Some of you have different types of soil. Some of you have different hunting conditions. Some of you have more trash in the ground. Some of you have less trash in the ground. But those were the settings I used on this site on that particular day and came out successful. So I've talked a lot about these finds. Let's show a couple of these finds, Michael. And let's start with this first one, which I really thought was just really unusual. And this is a Tomback button. It is a dome-shaped button with a circle in the middle of it. Have you ever seen one like that, Michael?
I have not. In the back of it, I think it's a solid shank on it, right?
Yeah. Let me see if I can get the back up. I should have put the back up there too. But look at the back of this thing. This thing is look at that.
Yeah.
Check that out.
That's a nice button.
It was, and it was, it's sort of a tin plated button, but was really nice. That was just that one. That was my best find up until I dug this next find. And Michael knows what the next find is. The next find is one that I didn't know what it was. I'd never seen one. And some of you may know what that button is. Michael, you want to tell them what that button is?
It's 1870s, 80s, on up to the early 1900s police. But I dug one a couple of years ago, and I didn't know what it was to start with either. But I knew what that one was because I had dug one.
Right. So that is an 1870 police button. It's got a Waterbury back mark on it. And when I dug it, I thought it was a military button. I'm going, oh, this is a military button. You'll see in the video. But these buttons are pretty rare, aren't they, Michael?
Yeah, I've only seen a few that have been dug.
Yeah, and some of you may have seen this button before too. But again, when you watch the video, you'll see me, and I could tell it was a button. And Michael was actually on the phone with me a couple of times when I was digging some of these, and I said, Michael, I know that's a button. I can tell, and you'll hear me say it in the video, but I could tell by the smooth sound of it. So if you watch the video, listen to that sound. It's just different. Versus digging a piece of aluminum. It doesn't feel forced. And of course, it was a high number too, but that smooth sound that it had just really told me, hey, this is going to be something special. And that police button came in, and it's just a beauty. And then this was really the crowning find of the day. And I know that doesn't look like much to everybody because it is really in bad shape, but that is a Nova constellation or constellation. And the reason why I knew what it was because of the reef, which you see there on the back of this button. And I was never dreaming in a million years to dig this coin. I'm sorry, but dig this coin. It's a coin, guys. This coin was minted in 1785. They're very rare, especially here in the South. I know people find them probably up north more than we find them here in the South, but also a very tough coin to find. And it's not as big as a $50, but it is the size of maybe a little bit bigger than a quarter, is what you see there too. So that is the back. The back is actually in way better shape. The front looks like this, which you can sort of see the starburst design, which is what it's known for, and it has like an eye in the middle. So that's how I knew that it was that coin. I would have never dreamed in a million years that I would have dug that coin. And that's just, that's one of those finds of a lifetime, a bucket lister. Michael dug one, though, on a site not too far from this site. And, his was in immaculate shape versus the one that I dug. But mine was in pretty rough dirt. You could see that it had been compacted clay, and it had worn this coin pretty bad. And the funny thing was, and if you notice in the video, all of those coins or all of those targets and finds that I made, most of them were right by the road where most of the trash was. And and I think that's why some of them were still there. But again, HF2 Coil came through, hit these beautiful targets, 2 finds that I will always remember. And I was just super ecstatic about it. And that was running the 60 discrimination. And I would have never dreamed that 60 discrimination would have helped me find 2 finds that I never thought I would ever find. So there you go, for whatever that's worth. But yeah, it was really, really, really good. Yes, Digging Dude says saving history. This is why we need to get this stuff out of the ground. Save what we can from total deterioration. Right. And this thing would have gone away real quick based on the dirt that it was sitting in. And we did have some rain, so my soil was a little bit amplified, which I think that helped me as well. And so we just knocked fire with that HF2 coil. And again, I wanted to share these finds with you guys and show y'all these beautiful finds that I was just blown away by. So go check out the video if you haven't already, and you'll get to see all these things being dug, live digs too. We go out, we test these machines, and then we apply what we see when we test. We don't just sit there in our backyard and run a test. That's not metal detecting to me. Metal detecting to me is getting out in the woods, getting out on the beach, running these things constantly and pulling things from the ground. That's metal detecting, and that's what most of us do on here. So yes, we are so excited to get these finds. So thank you, Digging Dude. Appreciate it. Appreciate it so much. So hopefully you guys enjoyed those. Michael, what do you think, buddy?
That's some great finds. It really is. It really surprised me that day you found so much in that spot, because I know we've hunted it quite a bit.
Right, and I say that in the video. Michael's hunted this spot with me. Rob Rizzo, the history diggers, hunted this spot with me. Surfside Dan's hunted this spot with me. So they all are familiar with this site, and they know the amount of iron that's in this site. And they also know that it's been hunted to death. And, was it the coil? I don't know. Was it I just missed it, or we just missed it? Could have been. It's all about getting over the target eventually. And again, I was able to get over these targets, that other people weren't. And that's what made the day for sure. So Yes. Yes. No armchair detector is here. You're right, Aggie. Michael and I get out there, and when you watch this video, wait till you see all the deer flies that flying by you'll hear them. They'll buzz by the camera while I'm hunting, and they're like flying by, and I'm sweating. It's about 89, 90 degrees. I'm sweating. I'm just pouring sweat, and out there digging these targets out of the ground. So yeah, we get out and we practice what we preach. If we see something, we go out and we try it, and then we bring it to you guys and show you guys what the results were from trying it. Does that mean it's going to work for you? No, but it does mean that it did work for us on this day, on this site, on that location. So it worked out great, right? So, all right, Michael. So let's talk a little bit about what we think is coming. So we sort of already alluded to that when we were talking about the 9-inch round coil possibly for XP. Michael, what do you think might could be some things that we could see from some of the other companies as we get closer to the end of the year? I think we're going to see an explosion of stuff that we're going to possibly see at the end of 2025 and the beginning of 2026. So what do you think? What do you think is coming?
Nokta is going to come out with we know they're going to have a pulse induction machine, but I think they'll come out with possibly a Legend update, maybe a Legend Pro type machine. And I've also heard rumors, that Minelab would have a new machine coming out as well, but it's going to be interesting to see the rest of this year to see what comes out.
Right. So Nokta, we know they're coming out with supposedly this pulse induction machine. That's a VLF pulse induction hybrid type machine, I believe is what I've heard. And that's coming real soon. But I'm like Michael, I think Nokta is going to do something else with a new machine to sort of replace the Legend. Of course, the triple score is a great machine too. So, I know that they feel good about the triple score, but I know they want to have maybe a little bit higher end machine with a little more customizable settings. So I see them doing something. And I think Michael's exactly right. I see Minelab hopefully coming out with something. Everybody's been rumoring about a CTX, but I do believe that there's something in the works. Some people have tried to say, hey, I can't find out anything, but I just got a feeling I think Minelab's going to come up with something maybe towards the end of the year as 2025 comes to a close or the beginning of 2026. So I think we're going to see that. I think XP's got some things on the horizon. I don't know that for a fact, but again, the 9-inch round coil would not surprise me. It would not surprise me too if they did maybe a new pinpointer possibly. That could be something that you could see in the coming months, and who knows what else. So I think all of these companies are sort of jockeying right now, and they're getting ready for some big launches and some other things. And I think as we get closer and closer to the end of the year, I think we're going to see more and more of that kind of stuff. Don't you think?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, it's, we've heard rumors now, but, Nokta's been pretty quiet here lately, and I think they've been working on something.
Well, and I think Garrett's going to just look to improve on the Vortex. So I think we're going to see more stuff from Garrett. People want to, knock on that Vortex, but I've used that Vortex, and I'm just going to be honest. I don't have an issue with it. I mean, I know it doesn't have some of the features, doesn't have some of the things that we're used to with some of the other machines. Yes, it does cost more, but it's still a good machine, and it still works, and it still does what it's supposed to, or it does for me. And I would have no problem running it. Michael's run it. Michael, what do you think about the Vortex?
I found a lot of good stuff with that machine. It'll find the stuff. There's not a problem there.
And by the way, We got a video featuring Michael. It's a Michael NC Relic Hunter video running the Vortex. So that's coming soon. So you want to see the Sasquatch running the Vortex, you'd want to stick around. So that's going to.
I noticed in the, after this last update, it really locks on to the targets, and I think you've noticed that too.
Oh yeah. Well, you can go watch my video where I went out in the cornfield and sweated my bunkus off too out there in that cornfield. But it performed really good for me, and I was real excited about using it and running it. I found a Civil War artillery button running the Viper and the Vortex VX9. And, would another machine have found that? Probably so. I'm not going to sit here and say that this machine would have, just trounced any other machine out there. I'm not saying that. But again, it got over the target. It beat, I dug it. That's it. You have got to realize that as the user, you're the one who dictates how well that machine performs. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people forget about. They think the machine is what gets you the finds, but it's not necessarily the machine. It's the user. It's the person running the machine, how much they know that machine, how much they're willing to invest as far as their time and learning what that machine can do. And I had somebody leave this comment. Yes, you could take a $150 metal detector and go out there and find things. And Michael and I have had this conversation quite a few times. The margin of how much more finds you would get from one machine to another machine, whether it be expensive or cheaper or whatever it may be, it's very small. I would say it's really small, especially with the technology that some of these companies are coming with and what they're providing us, things that we would have never dreamed of 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 20 years ago.
Right.
One. Yeah. OC Beat Digger says, I think it's more challenging than ever to innovate in this hobby. The science is about to be pushed to its limits already with all of it. That's right. And I think you're exactly right, OC Beat Digger. Again, it's the user. The user is the one that determines how much and what they're going to find in a lot of cases. Getting over the target, knowing the machine, being able to run that machine to the best of its ability. And that's what makes a successful metal detector. It's not necessarily the detector. And I think we get lost in all of this sometimes. I show all these machines that you see behind me. I show those machines because I know a lot of people use different machines. A lot of people have different budgets. A lot of people have all kinds of things that they look for in a metal detector. And, it could be the audio. Maybe the audio is something that sells you on a machine. Maybe it's the screen, like the Manicore. Maybe you like the Manicore because of the screen. Maybe it's because this is the only brand of metal detector you've ever used and you don't want to switch. Nobody needs to be told that their machine sucks. Nobody or anybody. Use what you have, get familiar with it, enjoy metal detecting. Don't worry about it. That's my tip of the week, Michael. I stole your thunder. So, yes, Metal Detected in Southeast Texas says his HF coil got shipped today. You're going to love it. It is a great coil to use. I loved swinging it as well. So, again, Ferris Grump says, I told a guy on the beach yesterday, yeah, he was using an Amazon special, and I told him he just needs to get his coil over the treasure. Right. It happens, guys. We all get so bogged down. And let me say this too. These companies know what they're doing when they market these machines and so on. They know, and how much of it you're falling for because of the marketing ploys that some of the companies use. And I'm not saying it's all wrong, but what I am saying is they know what buttons to push.
Yeah, they sure do.
To get you to buy, okay? And then they go out and they disseminate some of this stuff to influencers, okay? to make sure that they show those things as being way better than anything else. And again, you guys know, I just got through talking about the HF2 coil, but you also heard me say at the same time, is it the coil? Was it the machine? Was it the site I was on? It could be all those different things. Would another machine have found those same targets? Probably yes. I mean, I'm truthful. Probably yes, it would. And so, that's just the nature of this. But don't ever feel bad about whatever machine you have bought. Go out and learn it. Enjoy the hobby. Use it to the best of your ability. And don't let anybody tell you that what you have is garbage or junk or anything like that. Go enjoy yourself. Find some history. Find some gold rings. Find some great, amazing coins. Whatever it is you're looking for, go out and enjoy yourself. Have fun doing this. Don't let anybody tell you that your machine is not any good because it only costs $200 or $300 or $500. And my machine is better because I spent $1,500. Come on. Yeah, that's where we are. Yeah, that's right. Same thing as fishing and hunting. A lot of gear is made to catch fishermen and hunters only. That's exactly. Well, I couldn't have said it any better, Doug. I appreciate you sharing that. Right. Yeah, Brian Thomas is right. Just have fun, guys. That's why we all do this. That's right. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that one machine is better than the other. You won't hear that out of my mouth. And again, like I said, I'm no expert on any of these things other than I've been metal detecting for 15 years. And I love the hobby and I love using different machines. That's just who I am. I like having the best machines, but I don't mind running a machine that's way cheaper. And do I think that I couldn't find some things with that cheaper machine versus that real expensive machine? Probably not. Probably can find the same things in some cases. Definitely. The margin is very, very small. Yeah. Very small. Right. Right. Good job detecting 307. There, 307. I must have missed that. He said, my toy is better than your toy because it costs more. Right. I mean, that's where we're at. It's just like when you go buy a car, think about all the add-ons and things you can get with a car or a truck. It's basically the same thing. It's basically the same thing. Right. Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah, there it is. Detecting 307. Right. Yeah. So, get out and hunt. Dude, I have 2 XP-2s. Right. So, but again, you guys know I love swinging the XP-2, but I like swinging the Manicore. I like swinging the Garrett Vortex. I like swinging the Legend. I like swinging the Triple Score. I like swinging all of these different machines. Doesn't matter to me. I believe that you can find something with each and every one of them regardless and just go out and have fun. That's what this hobby is all about. And don't let anybody tell you anything different, that your machine sucks because you bought this brand or you bought this manufacturer. Don't ever fall for that. Right. David Moss is right. Whatever you swing, learn it to the max. That's exactly right. Gary Holt says, I've asked other users of my machine how they hunt with their machines and settings. Then I try it, set up, changes things. It can change things. And again, I'm just going to say this. There are so many variables to a site. There are so many things that go into whether you find something or whether you don't, based off of your location, based off the amount of trash, based off of your soil conditions, based off of all sorts of the EMI, based off of all those things. And, some of these machines do give you advantages in those types of situations. But again, it's very marginal. It really is. Wiley Detecting says, I still use Vanquish and my daughter has the Bounty Hunter. We have a blast just being out there. That's right. And that's what it's supposed to be. Having fun and finding things and saving history if you like doing that. If you like hunting the beach and going out and looking for gold. All of those are things that all of us look forward to do. I've swung a Manicore the other day and I just couldn't get into it. I like how right. And that's another thing. That's a great point. Some people just like the way the machines talk to them, just like what Northwestern Wisconsin said. Michael really likes the Manicore. Okay, he jives with it. I really like the Deus too. I jive with it. But I've been using XP products for over 10 years now, and that sort of is what I've sort of gotten used to. So, but I can use the Manicore as well, but I like running the Deus too, just because of the audio. Some people may like some people may like the Vortex because of the audio. Some people may like the Nokta triple score because of the audio. And there are so many things that go into deciding which detector is going to be the best detector for you. And customizable settings, they're good, they are, but some people just want a machine that they can just cut on and go. Right, Mike?
That's right. Yeah, sometimes it's fun to do that, you know, and you don't have to figure out a whole lot out, and it just works out for you, you know. We talked about that the other day.
Right. And Aggie's right. Reach out to other successful detectorists and what she said, and watch the show. Thank you, Aggie. And mimic what they do. They are successful for a reason. And guys, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I don't have good locations, good permissions, and those types of things. But I still got to get out there and do it. You know, I still have to go out and hunt. I still have to run these machines. I have to know how to run these machines. And again, that's where you start to excel when it comes to metal detecting, or at least that's me. So again, Michael, it's time for our tip of the week, don't you think?
Yeah, it's about time.
Are you guys about ready for Michael's tip of the week? Should we bring it on? Yes. Doug Atkins is right. I learned by failing and trying not to do it again. Hey, that's all of us. You learn when you fail. A lot of people don't want to fail, but failing is part of learning. You guys know I'm a school teacher, so you guys know I know that better than anybody. And my kids are going to fail. I'm a coach. My athletes are going to fail. But with every failure, you learn something. And every day is an opportunity to learn something new, learn something else. Every hunt that you go on with a metal detector is a chance to learn something new. So keep those things in mind, and I'm telling you, it will be really, really good. Surfside Dan says, I think if they could mate a Manicore with a Deus 3. Make a Manicore with a Deus 3. Yes. Who knows? Maybe that's coming, Surfside Dan. We don't know. There could be something coming. Chris says, yeah, tip of the week. They want that tip of the week. Y'all ready? Let's go. Chris, here's your tip of the week. We know you've been waiting on it. Here we go.
Hi, guys. I just wanted to hop on here and peel my tip of the week.
I don't know what happened to you, Michael. Why did that tip of the week not come through? There we go. Let's play. Ready? Set. Go.
Hi, guys. I just wanted to hop on here and peel my tip of the week. My tip of the week this week involves the elliptical coils. I know I don't have the HF2 yet, but I have experience with the high frequency for the Deus 1, and it's similar from what I've been told. There's a narrow detection zone in the middle. Sometimes when you're hunting in the iron and you get a signal, to get that signal to come in good, you kind of want to move your coil forward or backwards, and there's a certain spot, especially if it's in heavy iron, that it'll have a better detection zone on that coil. And it always helps to turn on that signal too, and see if it's staying constant, and if it stays there, if it disappears, it's probably iron. But if it stays constant, you want to turn, and you want to, like I said, move that coil forward or backwards until you get into a zone on that coil where it is picking up the best. And I found that to be helpful out in the field, especially hunting in the heavy iron. Well, thanks, guys, and enjoy the rest of the show, and we'll talk with you later.
All right, there was our tip of the week, Mr. NC Relic Hunter. And we appreciate him sharing that tip. And we sort of already talked about that throughout the show, too, Michael, didn't we? So, again, tight detection zones on these elliptical coils. And, again, just be aware that sometimes those targets are going to act a little bit wonky on you because of that tight detection zone.
And also, you know, when you're hunting an eye with that electrical coil, and I know you've noticed it, sometimes it moves that detection area, either front of the coil or back of the coil, depending if it's mixed with iron. I know you noticed that, you know, it's just, so it pays to move that coil if you get a target and turn on it and see if you can get that target to come in better.
Right. Well, Michael, I've seen, well, you saw it on the video. Some of these targets will disappear on them.
Yeah.
And that's part of it, you know. And I expect it more with these elliptical coils than I do with the regular coils. But sometimes those targets will disappear in the middle of the hole because it's, you know, it's right in the middle, or it gets turned, or it's turned on its edge, and then it has a hard time picking it up sometimes. So sometimes those things happen that way as well. All right, Michael. What else we need to talk about?
I think we've covered about all we wanted to talk about.
Okay. All right. Well, we've got a video coming with the beach, so stay tuned for that. There's going to be some great information we're going to share with you guys on the beach. Surfside Dan was with me. He sort of knows what that information is. We've also got some tips that we're going to share from the beach that we did on video. So we're going to be sharing that, running this HF2 coil, which I know a lot of you are interested about. So that's going to be happening really, really soon. So stay tuned for that. We got a hunt from Michael, which I've been telling him I was going to put it up for the last 2-3 weeks. But I've been so bogged down with content and, you know, playing with this HF2 coil. I sort of got behind on my videos, but I hope to have that video up really, really soon. So stay tuned for that. Got a few hunts with the Manicore, which are coming up, so you can look forward to that. We got more HF2 content coming. So we got a lot of stuff planned for you guys in the coming weeks. So just be prepared. And we appreciate everyone sticking around and enjoying the show and checking out the content on our channel. That really helps us, and we appreciate that so much. Ferris Grump says, any news about custom hats? We're going to have to work on that. Michael was on me tonight. Again, I've only got, it feels like I finally got a little bit of extra time to try to get things done, but I get so bogged down. So today I made the video, I edited. That took me about 3.5 hours to edit that video. And then I worked on this studio, which I don't know if this looks any better tonight than what it normally does, but I did work on some studio stuff. And I'll share with y'all what my new studio looks like if you guys are interested, and we'll share that. So here it is, and I'm going to open that up, and let's see if I can share it up here, Michael. There's my new studio. So you guys can see what my new studio layout looks like. So when y'all are seeing me, that's what I'm looking at on there. So, and again, this studio would not have been possible without you guys sort of helping me and getting this thing up and running. So I appreciate you guys, and we want to bring good quality content to you guys every Friday night at 7:30. And so, again, this is the new studio, and we're real excited about it as well. So, Michael, you ready to do this giveaway?
Yeah, let's do that giveaway. What do you have tonight?
Have y'all stuck around for the giveaway? It looks like some people left. That's okay. Guess what? It lowers the chances or improves your chances of winning. So, Michael,
what do you got? An autograph picture of yourself?
I was thinking an autograph picture of you in a Speedo. Will that work?
You don't want that.
Yes, Joe Dirt says studios ain't cheap. They're not. Trust me.
There's a
They're
lot of
not.
money in that equipment.
Thank you, Ferris Grump. I appreciate it. Yes, we appreciate you guys. And again, you guys are the lifeblood of our channel. Thank y'all for being so supportive. Thank you for everyone that's here every single night, helping us bring content and bring stuff to you guys. And hopefully tonight, you got something out of this. We showed some finds. We talked about some stuff coming up in the future. We talked about the HF2 coil. We talked about the settings I was using on my last hunt. We've got a great beach hunt coming, or beach video coming, not necessarily a hunt. And so, yeah, we've got a lot of things on the horizon, and you guys make all that possible. And I couldn't do it without you, and I really appreciate y'all. I want y'all to know that so much. Yes, and please, if you haven't hit that like button, and I know I don't say that enough, but please hit that like button before you leave. Just that thumbs up button, that helps. Leave a comment. Leaving comments helps. So definitely do that. So tonight, Michael, we've got a pair of Garrett gloves. Now these are small gloves. I'm just going to be honest. Y'all see it's a medium. So if you guys,
those are comfortable gloves. They really are.
Yes, they are very comfortable gloves. So we are going to do a pair of gloves. And then also too, and we appreciate Garrett did send those to us to do for a giveaway.
Those are mediums.
Those are mediums, right? Yeah. So again, somebody with smaller hands, if you got really big hands, I don't know if these will work, but again, it's a free pair of gloves, and these gloves are very nice. And Michael's right, exactly. Michael, we've also got also from Garrett, we have a Vortex hat, and so we're gonna do a Vortex hat and a pair of gloves. It'll be all in one for a giveaway tonight. But the hat is nice. I love the soft feel. It's a low profile hat, which I like a lot, which is just like this XP hat that I have on, but a low profile Vortex hat. So we are going to be giving that away. So that's going to be our giveaway tonight. A Vortex hat and a pair of Garrett gloves. And yes.
What about your cup? People like your cup. Are you going to give that away?
This cup, the Gamecock cup? The Gamecock Cup stays. The Gamecocks. That's it. South Carolina. I'm a big Gamecock fan, and Brian Thomas is on here. He's a big Gamecock fan too. Of course, he's got the Gamecock in his avatar. So yeah, Michael's hat. They want your hat, Michael.
Well, Relics and Rings. That's where it comes from.
Yeah, Relics and Rings is on here. He can get you hooked up with one of those hats. So, definitely look him up. If he's got any left, I know he'd be more than happy to get you hooked up. Bells says this. They are great gloves. Thank you, Bells, for being here tonight. Chris says no Gamecock cup. Diggity said, yeah, hashtag Michael's hat. Melody Boys says, I have Michael's hat.
Yeah, they're nice.
Brian Thomas says, where did you get that cup, Brian? I got that cup from the local lady here that runs an embroidery shop. It's called Island Specialties, but I'll tell you who it's made by. It's made by Corksicle. And you can probably go on their site and probably find it. But Corksicle is the one that makes this cup, this Gamecock cup, which I love. It's one of my favorite cups. And it keeps things nice and cold, so I love it. Zapper's in here, says, hey, gang. So real quick, one more time, we've got a few more people popping in. We are giving away a Garrett Vortex hat, and we are giving away a pair of Garrett gloves. They are a size medium, but we're going to give away both of those for our giveaway tonight, and that can be something special. Oh, and by the way, since we're talking about Garrett real quick, I do have the Reaper coil, which is their big 15-inch coil. I'm actually going to take that out, hopefully on the beach. We're going to take it out. We're going to hunt with it. We might, I don't know if I'll take it to a Relic site, but I know I'm going to take it to the beach and do some ground coverage with that. And so that video will probably be sometime next week. I'll probably make it. So it'll be coming in about a week or so. But we do have the big Reaper coil. And I'll be honest, Garrett sent me that coil to show. So it's called the Reaper coil. We have shown the Viper coil, which we're going to be using that again on a park site. I'm hoping I can dig some more silver coins. What do you think, Michael? You think there's some more silver coins in that spot for me?
Yeah, I think there is some more silver coins there.
Think I'll find more with the Viper than I did with the 11-inch?
We'll have to see.
Yeah, just have to wait and see, right?
Right.
But again, I appreciate Garrett. Great company to work with, and they gave these away for a giveaway tonight. So thank you, Garrett, for being a proud giveaway sponsor tonight. So right. So all right, yeah, they come out of the woodwork when the giveaway happens. Hit that like, thumbs up, and that like button for me, please. I would appreciate it. And let's get this party started, Michael. Let me pull up the giveaway, StreamYard giveaway. And we will get this party rolling. What do you think, Michael?
Yep.
So what you got planned? You got any metal detecting planned, Michael?
Well, they're calling for rain all weekend here. I think there's like a 75% chance tomorrow and a 75% chance Sunday. So we'll just have to see. Maybe there'll be a little window where I can get out and do some detecting. But
I sure hope you can, buddy. I mean, I don't know how much it's supposed to rain here too. So I think I'm gonna be shut out for a little bit as well.
We got some videos to work on.
Michael, don't remind me. I got so much video content that I have not gotten up, but I'm gonna sit down. I made myself sit down this morning and get this one up. So hopefully I'll get some others. David Link says, "Roll Tide, roll Tide, roll Gamecocks." That's what we like. But Alabama's a good team too. We like Alabama as well. There. So Zapper said it rained here this morning. Same here in Huntsville. Yeah, they're calling for a good bit of rain.
Yeah.
The next couple of days in my area as well. All right. So Michael, let's share our screen here for our giveaway tool.
Let's get a giveaway tool.
Yeah, I know. What's wrong with that? Let's share the giveaway tool. So there we go. We got our giveaway tool, and it's going to be #Garrett is our thing. Let's hope it works. I might have to go back in and redo it. Hopefully I don't. See if it starts picking up everybody. #Garrett. As soon as everybody starts. There we go. It's working. So now we're off and running, Michael. So let's see if we can. There we go. Now we're back in here. Digging Dude says #XP HF2. Well, another thing. Want to mention my good buddy, the history digger, Rob Rizzo. He was supposed to get an XP Deus 2 HF2 coil, and his did not come in. They lost it at FedEx. But this is a big if they find it and they send it to him, we're going to do a giveaway for an HF2 coil if they find his coil. FedEx does. So just wanted to throw that out there for you guys that are here. And for some of you, I know that would be the biggest giveaway ever. So if his coil comes in, we are going to do it as a giveaway. So you definitely want to stay tuned and be on the lookout for that live stream, because we will do it on our live stream, and we will do a giveaway if they find it. And they found some other people's, so hopefully they'll find Rob's coil too. And he's going to allow us to do it as a giveaway on here on our live stream. And we appreciate him doing that. So that could be something for you guys to look forward to. Now, that's a big if. So I'm going to throw that out there too as well. And go check out his channel too, the History Digger, if you haven't already subscribed. So there we go. We got 33 people in here. Again, for those of you that are just now jumping in, we are giving away a Vortex hat and a pair of Vortex Garrett gloves, not Vortex gloves, but Garrett gloves. Super nice. They are size medium. I will let you guys know that. Hat is a low profile hat, a lot soft hat too. I like the way it feels. But again, very nice hat. And again, we're going to give away both of those straight from Garrett. We appreciate Garrett donating those to us. And then you know what I really like about it, Michael?
What's
look
that?
There, look at it there on the side.
The American flag.
Got the American flag on the side. So again, for whatever that's worth to some people. Yes. So yes, love the History Digger, right? Rob's a good friend and great supporter of our channel.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He is an awesome guy. Yeah, Brian Thomas said there will be 300 people here for that, right? Well, again, they got to find it first, though, Brian. That's the only problem. And so far, they haven't found it, and Rob hasn't sent me anything saying they had. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We're going to give everybody a chance to get in. We got 33 people. We got 58 people in the stream. We are giving away a Vortex hat and a pair of Garrett gloves. We will ship those out to you. We'll try to get them out a little bit faster than normal because I don't have school right now, Michael. So I got a little bit of time to get to the post office to get these things off. Right. Make the beaches clean again. That's the Aggie. Thank you, Aggie, for being here. And thank you all for being here tonight. We're going to give a few more minutes to let everybody get into the drawing so far. It looks like we're stuck at 33. So, again, hashtag Garrett. John just got in at 34. Thank you, John, for joining in with us. Metal Detecting Texas, Southeast Texas, says, love the History Digger. We like Rob, too. He's an awesome dude. Gene Gilstrap has been here tonight. Glad to have Gene with us tonight. Zapper came in a little bit late. Glad to have Zapper. We're just going to recognize some of these people. Wisco Detect is in here. Glad to have Wisco with us. Trying to see some people that we didn't catch earlier in the stream. Joseph Dateman's in here tonight. Glad to have Joseph with us. MSPAG is in here. Glad to have him with us tonight. DS Metal Detecting's here. Glad to have DS. Tim Wallingford is here. Glad to have you here with us tonight, Tim. Thanks for joining in with the show. And I'm just trying to make sure David Link. Glad to have David. Appreciate you joining in, David. OC Beat Digger. Glad to have him with us. And he's left some great comments tonight. Steve Sammons is here. Glad to have Steve. Thank you for being here tonight, Steve. John Arlett is here. Glad to have John. Appreciate you joining in the show tonight. John W. is here. Glad to have John W. Carrie Holderreed is here. Glad to have Carrie with us tonight. Eric Pamula. I appreciate him. Hopefully I said your name right, Eric, but thank you for being here with us tonight. Thanks a lot. Glad you joined the show tonight. And I think I've gotten everybody that I'm seeing. I think I said David Link. But yeah, so try to catch everybody in here. We got 35. Appreciate that. Mike House is in here. Glad to have Mike. Appreciate you joining the show, Mike. Just in time for the giveaway. Go back and watch the replay. But before you leave, Mike, you got to hit that like button or hit that thumbs up button. We would appreciate that. That will definitely help with us. Brian Thomas says he's doing his best on Surfside. Surfside's a great beach to hunt, Brian. Garden City, great beach to hunt. Myrtle Beach, great beach to hunt. So go enjoy it for sure. We love that area as well. All right, Michael, we got 35. You think we'll get any more?
I think that's about it.
Think everybody's done?
Yeah.
Think everybody's done. We're getting ready to do this. So if you win, before we leave tonight, Michael, we have not done this, and I feel bad about it. Guys, make sure check out Mr. Mike Heil at LMS Metal Detecting. Of course, it's been scrolling across the bottom the whole time. Mike can get you hooked up with anything, everything metal detecting related, any gear, any of that. Mike is a big sponsor of our channel. We appreciate him so much. If you're looking for that HF2 coil, you get on Mike's waiting list. He doesn't take payment right up front. He calls you when the coil gets here. And if you don't take it, then he just moves on down his list. So if you are interested in the HF2 coil, you can do that. If you're interested in anything metal detecting related, Mike is your guy. You definitely want to give him a try. His information is scrolling across the bottom. He is our preferred dealer, and he is a big sponsor of our channel. We appreciate Mike so, so much. Thank you, Mike, for all that you do. And, of course, his logo's up there in the right-hand corner of the screen. So, yes, LMS Metal Detecting for all your metal detecting needs. Anything that I use, you can get from Mike. I showed a nice beach scoop that I got from Mike recently, titanium scoop for you beach hunters, a beautiful carbon fiber shaft. If you didn't see it, go check out the beach hunt video and you'll see it in action. But a wonderful scoop, best purchase I've ever made for anything beach detecting. I can promise you that. So, yes, Digging Dude says more beer. And we love Digging Dude too. Thanks, Digging Dude, for being here. All right, let's do this, Michael, because it's about time to get out of here. All right, let's do our drawing. And here we go. Let's see who's going to be our lucky winner tonight. No way. Digging Daryl. 30-some people, Digging Daryl got in. Digging Daryl is the winner tonight of a Garrett hat and a Vortex hat, and it's a pair of Garrett.
Didn't he win a Vortex hat?
I don't know if he did or not. He can answer
Maybe
that.
he did.
He can answer that.
But you gave away one time, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm giving away a couple of hats. It's a fix. It's not a fix.
That'd be crazy if he won 2 of them.
Yeah, I don't think he's won one.
Okay.
But yeah, Digging Dude did, I think.
Oh yeah, maybe that's what.
Zapper says two-time winner, but he has won before. I will say that. So yes, Digging Dude says congrats. Ohio Press says congratulations, Digging Daryl. Yes, congratulations. Hopefully he's still on there. I'm waiting on him to respond back. Surfside Dan says congratulations. And hey, but he beat out Aggie. That's a tough one to beat out.
She said he's catching up to her.
He says, thank you guys.
Yeah,
Now I'll get those out to you this week. We appreciate you. I think I got your address, but just text it to me and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, Digging Dude won that.
Yeah. Yes. Congratulations, DD. That's him, Digging Daryl. So, all right, Michael. Well, again, we appreciate everyone being here tonight, taking your time on a Friday night to join Michael and I for another Friday Night Live, our Digging Deep Friday Night Live show. Thank you guys so, so much. Hopefully you got something out of the show. Hopefully you enjoyed hanging out, being part of our community. Thank you so much. That's what community is about, is hanging out together, having fun, talking metal detecting, and enjoying hanging out with each other.
We had a good time tonight.
That's what it's all about, right? Yeah. Go out there, have fun. Go out there and find some amazing things. And like I said earlier, don't worry about whatever machine you have. Go out and make the most of what you have. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. And go out and find those things that you're looking for. And you're always going to be successful. Learn the machine. And that's how you grow, and that's how you become smarter and learn more about the hobby. It's just learning your machine and learning everything you can about it and making the most of it, for sure. So have a great and fantastic weekend. We appreciate everyone. Thank y'all so much. Michael, any parting words you want to say?
Stay dry.
Stay dry. It looks like we're going to be soggy for the next 2 or 3 days. But yeah, hey, it is what it is. It's summertime. We're going to have some rain popping in and out. So, and thank you, Digging Daryl. We appreciate that. It helps with the shipping. Thank you so, so much. And again, thank you guys for being here tonight. We will catch you guys on our next adventure. Check out all of our content on Southern Relic Adventures. We got tons of things on there for everybody. Go check it out. And stay tuned for a lot of great content coming too in the next few days. So again, we will see you guys soon, and we will catch you on our next adventure. Take care, guys.
Have a good night, guys.